Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to take a quick look at Bitcoin once more, of course, help understand, the whole nine yards, big picture best practice. We're specifically going to take a look at traditional markets and see if we can identify any patterns there, because that's really determining the overall direction of Bitcoin right now. All right, so we're going to take a look at that and much more. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I love teaching people to trade. Truly hope you can learn something here today. If you do, obviously comment below, let me know. If not, that's okay too. Hey, perhaps next video might speak to you better. Either way you look at it, if you want to become a better trader, I have a website, basically CryptoCache.tech is where you can register for my trading academy, community, and signal group. So it's a really awesome experience. We all learn and grow together. We have over 200 active members and been doing very well all in all. We took some nice longs here recently. Yesterday's BNB long is not shaping up the way it should, but again, main reason why is because the traditional markets opened up and gapped down once more. It's been on a consistent downtrend. So we're going to take a look at that. Why don't we just jump right in there here really quick to kind of preface here. First of all, NASDAQ is down another 2%. It has seen an overall decrease of 8.5% in the last 5 trading days. Okay, so that may not seem like a lot because we're so used to volatility in the crypto market that 8% is like a normal day for Bitcoin, but 8% in the regular markets is insanely large. So it's not great in that sense with this significant downtrend. Another thing that I found that's interesting is that we're well overextended on the traditional markets here. Even the same thing with S&P, we're well past overtime, so to speak, so we really shouldn't be seeing this behavior. It should continue, it should recover. And we should have bounced off of the 50-day SMA. There's a lot of different things you can kind of throw out there, but generally speaking, we're extremely overextended. And if you look at, just say, the S&P's history, yes, it's been overextended in the past, but it always has a tendency of recovering, at least remotely, right? So we haven't seen that just yet. So hypothetically, we should see somewhat of an increase here soon. And in turn, the traditional markets are going to help elevate Bitcoin. Okay, that's kind of the concept there. So again, that's kind of where we're at there. You can just totally see like consistent patterns here. Anytime there's a 9, the price action will recover at least moderately. Okay, so I think we're due for a correction in regular markets to the upside being so overextended to the downside. All right, but again, just note that these gaps down are not helping Bitcoin grow and recover whatsoever. All right, there's almost a direct correlation. And you can see this downtrend here, and of course, big surprise downtrend here as well. Okay, so again, that's kind of where we're at there. So kind of foundationally, if we can see the regular markets recover and do well and the dollar index come back down, then we're going to be doing quite all right. Okay, so again, that's why I feel like Bitcoin is on the precipice of at least somewhat of a small rally to the upside based on that sentiment. It's also holding fairly well at support here, considering everything is going down on the traditional markets. Okay, it's just that you got to understand that when the regular market goes down as significant as it did recently, it gapped down by almost a full 2%. You can totally see that happen here on the trading for Bitcoin. All right. So again, just some kind of foundational stuff there. Taking a look here, of course, as well, we can see a bounce off 30 on the RSI. We saw that recently, whereas the price did recover tentatively. It was ascending, of course, and we lost this ascending trend. So now where we're at here, we're still underneath this descending type of trend, and we got to expect it to continue to break lower until it doesn't, right? So at this point, expect the worst, hope for the best. That's essentially what you're supposed to do. We can see a MACD is kind of, again, the bears are losing strength and momentum. So this does help us understand that the potential to the downside is less based on that key level support and how well it's holding at 19.8. So 19,800 is a very strong support level for Bitcoin even still. And in the big picture, we're not looking terrible. It just doesn't look great, right? It's like kind of one of those things where we got to accept the fact that it's just a crappy market for the moment, and that it could potentially recover in time, but we don't have validation on that yet. All right. So again, mostly conflicting information on the daily. We take a look at the moving averages once more. Of course, they're still trending down, and we're below all of them. Okay, so that's pretty standard stuff. I think the same could be said for the 4-hour as well. We are below all moving averages, 20 and the 50, etc. And of course, the 200 trailing behind with that descending type of trend. So all in all, everything's kind of lining up here to kind of let us know that we are in a bearish trend, and it's just going to be the way that it is until it isn't. All right, and what I mean by that is just that we want to try to break through this area here first. So if the price breaks down further, that would make sense, but hypothetically, we shouldn't see any further downside. This descending trend, it should break to the upside here. Not saying that's going to just take off, but it absolutely should recover to somewhere in the range of 20,400, because it does look like we're fairly range bound between 19.5 and 20,400. So this little $1,000 or $900 range is kind of just holding the price action in place for the moment. But again, you got to recognize this is actually it's actually decent behavior considering how terrible the traditional markets are, right? So again, you compare that with this, it's definitely doing better, right? Because again, traditional markets are going down, Bitcoin's going sideways. That tells us we're getting close to a bottom, right? But if the traditional markets continue to go down, that bottom isn't going to matter. All right, so again, just kind of trying to drive that home so you understand that, unfortunately, the best TA doesn't necessarily matter if all the the rest of the world is falling apart, okay? So that's kind of where we're at there on that. We're done with the markets there. When we take a look at some of the standard stuff here, we can see RSI is, of course, diverging. It's still coming down. Got rejected off of 50, and of course we have a potential MACD divergence here. I wouldn't say potential; it's actually happening. So in essence, this is kind of telling us that there is potential for further downside. Okay, so the 4-hour really does not look good at all. This is kind of telling us that we could expect the price action to continue to break down lower, and if so, you can expect altcoins to get hit harder. Okay, so again, just to kind of draw perspective, a lot of altcoins are getting hit right now, and it's just kind of the way that it is. A lot of them are still green, but that's based on the fact that they had such a strong day yesterday that they are still in the green, even though they're definitely red in the last couple of hours. All right, so again, that's kind of where we're at there in that sense. 4-hour, I do not like the 4-hour time frame right now. It's not looking good. One thing I do like here is just the fact that we are still making higher lows. I know it's not by much, but we haven't yet broken down below that yet. So as long as we can stay above 19,700 today, I think we'll be in good shape to see a slight recovery. On the hourly too, what we also want to look at is the cloud. And the cloud is kind of funky when you have this range bound activity, right? Because it'll constantly be breaking up above and below. But for right now, you can say that the cloud is below and that there is, if you have a short position open, you may want to consider leaving it open because the lagging span has an intersection with the price action, conversion lines below the baseline, etc. So mostly good stuff in there in that sense. All right, so that's where we're at there for the cloud. And then the very last thing I want to take a quick look at is TD sequential here. We can see this overextended state that happened last night. And of course, got a little reset, and now we're back down to a 3 again. So for the most part, Bitcoin is on the struggle bus, and there's no other way around it. I would say the short-term time frames are looking mostly bearish, and the macro is looking kind of just, it's break even, if you will. So again, for the most part, we have more signs here pointing down than up. Okay, so just try to recognize that if you're going to take a position specifically with altcoins. Bitcoin could continue to suffer, but there's small little glimmers of hope here, right? The higher lows are still higher lows. Even though we're descending here so far, we're still range bound between 20,500 and, or 20,400 rather, and 19.5. So again, it just kind of sucks overall. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it whatsoever. The market blows right now, and a lot of it has to do with this. Okay. Regular markets are struggling. Bitcoin's going to do the same as well. We need some good, strong days from traditional markets, and it has to happen soon, right? I mean, you can't go 15, 20 days in a row to the downside. It doesn't happen that often, especially in traditional markets. The regular market is due for recovery. It has to happen. But again, the world is kind of a crappy place right now, and that has a lot to do with the reason why everything is struggling. So, all right, anyways, hopefully I didn't burn that to the ground and it makes sense how I described this. Hope you learned something here today, of course. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site. Link in the description below. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.